So let's go back to all. Now I showed you some data that can be added to the map, but there's also complete applications which are also part of ArcGIS Online. For example, here's something called Selected ESRI Demographic Content, and if I click on that, I actually open up a web application which allows me to choose from a variety of different demographic themes and draw them on my map. So this is not a layer intended to be brought into an existing map, but rather a complete application which allows me to do interesting things like click on a feature, and I'll get a little pie chart which talks to me, in this case, about the diversity in this particular area. So complete applications can also be part of what we can share and discover and use on ArcGIS Online. Now let's look for some different data by different topic. I'm going to search by area. I'm going to look for San Diego, and we'll do a search on San Diego. Sorry, I have a little spelling error here. And let's search for that keyword, and here I have a variety of different content that's available to me, and I have a nice thumbnail preview of all of it. Now here's one that looks pretty interesting. This is San Diego housing density. So to add this to my map, I just click on it, click OK, and what's happened in the background is that we've added this to my current ArcGIS session. So here I'm looking at the housing density, and I can zoom in. I now have other tools available to me that allow me to do things like adjust the transparency, and I also have a nice swipe tool which allows me to slice back and forth between layers that I add to my map and the underlying base maps. So let's go back to ArcGIS Online, and let's continue on with our search. Let's look for some tools, and I'm going to type in, well, let's just look for all tools. So here's a list of a variety of different tools available. What are these? These are geoprocessing services and other service-based tools from other vendors that I can load directly into my application. For example, let's look for a tool with which I can do some terrain analysis with. This is a geoprocessing server powered by ArcGIS Server, and I can view it here, and I can actually download it directly from ArcGIS Online. And I've already done that in ArcGIS Explorer and have added it to the application. So to use this now, I just digitize a line. That line is now being sent to a waiting remote server, which does the heavy lifting and returns the result to me in this application. So in this case, this is a free application, but even though it's free, it can be extended with GIS capabilities by authoring and publishing geoprocessing services online. So let's go back to ArcGIS Online, and let's go back to the home page, and let's do something very interesting. Let's create a new web map online, and I do that by clicking this link. And here I'm using the ArcGIS Online content that I've already given you a tour of. So we have the streets, we have imagery, we have topography, we have shaded relief, so I can choose the map that I want. I can save this map at this point, but I want to do something interesting with it. I want to find other layers that I can add onto the map. So this is a list of all the service layers available, so I can create a mashup from any of these, or I can further refine my search by typing in a keyword, and I'm typing in fire. So here's one that looks interesting. It's a California fire history published by Jay Bartley, and I can add that to my web map by clicking on this link. And now we're connecting to this service, and I've just created a mashup on the fly which shows me all the burn areas throughout the LA area. And let's zoom in here on the Simi Valley, and let's zoom in to San Fernando, and let's put on my imagery, and you can see how some of the burn areas encroach on our urban environment. So this might be very useful information for me to have. Now this service was published by somebody that I don't know. Actually, I do know them, but it could come from anywhere. So people can author and publish services and make them available to me, and I can mash them up and bring them together without writing any code into my map. Now I can go ahead and save my map, and I'm going to give this map a title. Let's call this landslide areas that we need to worry about, because after a burn here in California, that's a concern. And I'm going to give it a couple of tags. And let's go ahead and save my web map. So what's happening is my map has now been saved to my account on ArcGIS Online. Let's take a look at my account. Now you can see I've signed in before this session. So you sign in with an Esri global account. You just need to register to obtain one. And when you do, you can look at your content. So here's a variety of content that I've added previously and that I work with on a daily basis. I've organized this into groups, and I've just created this landslide area map that I can now click to look at. Thumbnail was automatically generated. I can add some metadata about this, and I can also open it and view it, and I can even continue on from here. I can add more layers to it and do other work with it. Now, I have added this map to my list of content, but what I want to do is I want to share it to others. So I've authored this. I want to make it available to more people, and I do that by clicking Share. And here are my choices. I can make it public so anybody can search for it based on the tags that I entered and find it and begin using it and do mashups on top of it themselves. Or I can make it private and just publish it through specific groups that I'm either a member of or that I've created. So here's a group called the GeoDesign Summit, so I'm going to publish it in that group. Now, I also might want to make it publicly available and just use that group as an organizational component, so I'm going to make it publicly available but also organize it within that group. Now let's take a look at that group. So here's my groups. These are groups that I have asked to become a member of or been invited to join, or groups that I've created myself. And the group that I created and just published this content in is called the GeoDesign Summit. So here's the main gateway for that group, and I can go ahead and look at the content that's available there. Here's my landslide area map, which I just added. So other members of this group can also begin to use and work with this landslide map. And they'll see exactly what I've saved. And it's also shared publicly, so anybody can find it as well. So just as a real quick overview, ArcGISOnline.com is the site that you can visit. It has lots of ready-to-use maps and applications and tools that you can bring in to your working environment. It provides capabilities for you to search and share, and also to create communities and collaborate as you move forward in the design process. Thank you.
Thanks, Bernie. So the takeaway idea related to planners is, where do I find data? Where do I put data if I have data? How do I create something that I can share with other people? So Bernie showed you an example of just saving a simple mashup map, but you can also save out layer packages. You can put data out there. You can put map documents out there. The map documents can include geoprocessing applications, the stuff that you might run on a desktop. So you can begin to see that there's an opportunity for a group to collaborate in a space in ArcGIS Online.